Greetings, friends, and welcome to Mark's Vinyl Collection number 4. So, last couple times I've been kind of showing some of my vinyl collection when I've been doing my Project Gemini updates, but I decided to re-separate this again from that because I didn't want it to kind of interfere with the other bit of information. I want to keep the information separate, so we'll keep the album separate from the Project Gemini stuff. So on to the recent additions to my collection, and I have a couple that I'm very happy to have recently acquired. So let's get right to it. So I got myself finally a Kiss Alive 2, but you must be saying, well, you must have Kiss Alive 2, and yes, I do have Kiss Alive 2 in very many different variations, but I finally have one that has all the possible inserts. This is a complete copy, US complete version of the album. So that has the booklet, it has the proper sleeves in it, there's the press sleeve, and then also it has, I'm going to be very careful with some of this stuff because it is a little touchy, so it also has the proper merch form for it. And I can just sneak this out very carefully because it is very fragile, as well as it has the proper tattoos that come with it as well. So this is a complete version of Kiss Alive 2, the US version of it. And as you'll see here, I'll just show you one of the albums. Side 1. On the Casablanca Records and Filmworks version. So there you go. Like I said, I have many different variations of this album. I got the Polygram reissued 85. I've got the Mexican misprint, which is a kind of odd one to have because it's not like the US misprint, which is very sought after. The Mexican one only has one misprinted song on there, but still very interesting one to have, and many other ones, and I'm sure I'll get to those ones someday as well. And so on to the next one. Ace Frehley solo record. Love this record. And once again, why is this such a big deal? I must have dozens of them. Well, just like the Alive 2, I finally have a complete copy of this US full version, complete with the poster, complete with the proper intersleeves. That is beautiful. And if I can get it out here, it has also the proper merchandise form, and this is the one that has the attached envelope to it, which is, for some reason, this is a variation apparently. Do you believe that? This is actually known as a variation. Who would have thought it? These people sometimes go so crazy with these different variations, but you know, I guess when you're collecting, these kind of things are important to notice. So there's those things. I'll show you the vinyl. The vinyl is always very cool on these solo records, especially on the US ones. Side A, there's Mr. Frehley himself. Great album. Personally, my favorite is either this one or Paul Stanley's. On a day-to-day basis, that sometimes seems to change depending on my mood and so forth, but if it's not number one, it's number two. So on to another record that I got, Kiss Destroyer. Now if you notice, the Kiss logo at the top is very different than the normal Kiss records. There's no lightning bolt S's, because if you look, I don't know how well you're going to see this, but at the very bottom there in the center it says EMI Electrola, which means that this is a German release version of the record. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the first pressing release of the German one on Electrola. So a very early 76 pressing. Casablanca. Notice the different center label. All the various German bits like the Gemma. And if you notice the serial number, which is the 1C, so on and so forth there on the right side. So very interesting version of this record, and very happy to have it in my collection now. So off of the Kiss stuff now, let's get on to something a bit different, but no less cool. Gentle Giant, amazing band, amazing debut record. This is the first record, just entitled Gentle Giant. If you open it and it opens this way, you'll see a very cool graphic design. At the bottom you'll see it's distributed by Polydor in Canada. Now if you open it this way and take a look, there's the band. I can't really tell what the hell's going on here. There we go. Now the interesting thing about this is, if you look here, the records go in this way into the record, into the sleeve. I mean, sorry, the record goes into the sleeve that way, which is very common for certain times, for a certain time period when they were releasing records. Here is the vinyl, and this again is a first pressing, Canadian first pressing, which again makes me extremely happy because I'm always on the hunt for first pressings. They're usually very good sounding, and if they're kept nicely, then they can last you a long time and sound magnificent. Here you go, Gentle Giant on the Mercury label. Now Mercury is an American label, but in Canada, before they got a Canadian record deal, they were on Mercury and distributed through Polydor. There you have the Buildings, which is notorious for this label in the early 70s. So if you don't own Gentle Giant, and if you love progressive rock, I highly suggest you check it out. And if you go on YouTube and check out some music from them, check out some of their live performances. And one song I would highly recommend to check out, which is on this record, which is the second song, which is called Funny Ways. And live, it's just even more mind-blowing than it is on the studio version. So check it out, Gentle Giant. You won't be sorry. And last, but certainly not least, and we don't need much words or for me to explain how awesome this record is or why you must have it, I'm sure, but I'll be quick in case you do need some explanations. This is the new 2017 reissue, David Bowie's Station to Station. One of the best David Bowie records, in my opinion, bar none. It's only 6 songs on it. The opening track, Station to Station, is 10 minutes long. Every song on here is good. The only song that I'm a little bored with, because I've listened to this record so much I love it, but the only song that's kind of not doing it for me as much anymore is Golden Years, the single, ironically enough. But the rest of the record is brilliant. If you don't own this record, you should go get it. The original versions of these records are a bit pricey. Surprisingly, you can probably buy this reissue now, if you get it like now, under $30, which is a steal considering it's 180 gram vinyl. This stuff is made like a brick shithouse. It's so solid and strong. There you go. Bowie, Station to Station. Fantastic album. It is very unfortunate that Mr. Bowie is no longer with us, because I truly believe his last record that he did, Black Star, was a record that surprised many, including myself, and sounded like he was back on track to make some more brilliant music. But unfortunately, we're not going to be hearing any more from him unless there's stuff that's hidden away that we don't know about. So that's all for now that I have from my new additions. I'm sure there'll be more coming this week, and once I have more collected, I will show you some more stuff. So until next time, this is Mark Anthony K saying bye for now.